The signal came on a quiet Tuesday morning, piercing through decades of cosmic silence. Dr. Sarah Chen sat frozen at her station in the Arecibo, Iowa Observatory, her coffee growing cold as she stared at the unmistakable pattern pulsing across her monitor. After 20 years of scanning the stars, humanity had finally received its answer. We were not alone. But this was no greeting of peace. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood at the viewport of the International Space Station's new observation deck, watching as another massive section of the HMS Phoenix's hull was maneuvered into position by construction drones. The massive vessel was humanity's answer to the warning hidden within that alien signal, a message Dr. Chen and her team had spent months decoding. A message that spoke of an approaching storm. Quite a sight, isn't it? Admiral James Way's voice carried across the observation deck. Elena turned to face her superior officer, noting the dark circles under his eyes that matched her own. The entire United Earth Defense Force had been working around the clock since the signal's discovery. It's hard to believe we've managed to build something like this in just 18 months, Elena replied, gesturing toward the partially completed battle carrier. At just over 3 kilometers in length, the Phoenix would be the largest vessel ever constructed by human hands. Necessity is the mother of invention, Way said, stepping closer to the viewport. And nothing drives innovation quite like survival. He handed Elena a tablet displaying the latest intelligence briefing. Our deep space probes have detected movement at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Multiple objects, massive energy signatures. They're coming. Elena studied the grainy images, her jaw tightening. The objects were clearly artificial, massive vessels that dwarfed even the Phoenix. How long? 6 months, maybe less. Way's reflection in the viewport looked grim. The Phoenix needs to be ready before then. You'll have command once she's operational. Elena's head snapped up in surprise. Sir, you've been training for this moment your entire career, Rodriguez. The Phoenix isn't just a warship. She's humanity's best hope for survival. We need someone who understands both the tactical and diplomatic implications of first contact, even if that contact turns hostile. Before Elena could respond, an alarm blared through the station. Both officers turned as Dr. Chen burst onto the observation deck, her tablet clutched tightly in her hands. Admiral, Commander, you need to see this. The decoded signal had contained more than just a warning. Hidden within its complex patterns was a set of coordinates pointing to something buried beneath the surface of Mars. What they found there changed everything. The remnants of an ancient outpost, abandoned millennia ago. The technology they discovered there had accelerated the Phoenix's construction beyond their wildest expectations. But they weren't the only ones who had detected the signal's activation. 3 months later, Elena stood on the bridge of the completed HMS Phoenix, watching as her crew ran through final system checks. The massive vessel hummed with power, its revolutionary hybrid engines, combining human innovation with recovered alien tech, ready to propel them into humanity's next chapter. All systems are green, Commander, reported Lieutenant Kai Paddle from the tactical station. Weapon systems are online and calibrated. Shield generators are operating at optimal efficiency. Elena nodded, her fingers brushing against the command chair's armrest. The Phoenix wasn't just a vessel of war. She was a testament to human determination and ingenuity. When faced with an existential threat, humanity had come together like never before. Old rivalries were set aside, resources and knowledge pooled. The Phoenix carried the hopes and dreams of an entire species. Multiple contacts detected. The sensor officer's voice cut through the bridge's atmosphere of focused concentration. 15 unknown vessels just appeared at the edge of lunar orbit. Energy signatures matched the profiles from our deep space probes. They were early. Humanity's time for preparation had run out. Elena settled into the command chair, her training taking over as adrenaline surged through her system. Sound General Quarters. Bring all weapons online and launch our fighter squadrons. Let's show them that humanity isn't as defenseless as they might think. As klaxons blared throughout the massive ship, Elena thought back to that quiet Tuesday morning when everything changed. The signal hadn't just been a warning, it had been a catalyst, pushing humanity to evolve, to reach beyond its limitations. Now, faced with their first true test as a spacefaring species, they would show the galaxy that humanity wasn't just ready for the stars. They were ready to fight for them. All hands, Elena's voice carried throughout the Phoenix, steady and determined. This is your commander speaking. In the next few minutes, we will engage in humanity's first interstellar battle. Remember your training, trust in each other, and most importantly, trust in ourselves. We built this ship to protect Earth and everyone we love. Now it's time to prove that humanity belongs among the stars. The Phoenix's engines flared to life, the massive vessel moving with surprising grace as it positioned itself between Earth and the approaching alien fleet. Whatever came next would define humanity's place in the cosmos. And Commander Elena Rodriguez intended to make sure that definition began with victory. The alien vessels resembled massive crystalline structures, their surfaces refracting light in ways that seemed to defy physics. As they approached, Elena noticed how they moved in perfect synchronization, like predators coordinating for a kill. Analysis, Elena commanded, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Dr. Chen, who had insisted on being present for humanity's first contact, worked furiously at her science station. The vessels appear to be using some form of crystalline technology, similar to artifacts we found in the Mars outpost. Energy readings are off the charts, Commander. Each ship possesses enough power to level a continent. They're broadcasting, Lieutenant Patil announced, his hands hovering over the communications array. Multiple frequencies. Elena straightened in her command chair. This was the moment humanity had prepared for. Put it through. The bridge speakers crackled with a sound that seemed to exist somewhere between language and music. After a moment, the ship's AI translated. Primitive vessels of Earth, you have accessed knowledge that does not belong to you. Surrender the Mars artifacts and prepare for quarantine. Resistance will result in immediate termination. Elena's jaw tightened. 18 months of preparation, and humanity's first contact would be with an advanced species that viewed them as little more than thieves to be punished. Open a channel. This is Commander Elena Rodriguez of the HMS Phoenix, representing the United Earth Defense Force. We discovered abandoned technology on Mars, within our own solar system. We claim salvage rights under any reasonable interpretation of cosmic law. The response was immediate and harsh. Your species is too young to comprehend cosmic law. You are children playing with dangerous toys. Submit or be destroyed. Before Elena could respond, the alien fleet moved. 3 of the crystalline ships broke formation, their surfaces beginning to pulse with energy. They're charging weapons, Patil shouted. Launch countermeasures. Elena ordered. Activate the Aegis shield system. The Phoenix's revolutionary defense system, reverse-engineered from the Mars artifacts, sprang to life. A shimmering field of energy enveloped the massive ship just as the alien vessels fired. Beams of concentrated energy, powerful enough to crack a planet's crust, slammed into the shield. The bridge crew held their breath, waiting to see if their adapted technology would hold. The shield fluctuated but remained intact, its energy matrix actually growing stronger as it absorbed and adapted to the alien attack. Impossible. The alien transmission carried a note of shock. You cannot possess this technology. You cannot comprehend it. Elena allowed herself a small smile. You'll find humanity is full of surprises. This is your final warning. Withdraw from Earth space or face the consequences. The alien fleet's response was to launch what appeared to be fighter craft. Hundreds of them, their crystalline structures catching the sunlight as they streaked toward the Phoenix. Launch our Thunderbolt squadrons, Elena commanded. Tactical, prepare the Aurora cannon. The Phoenix's hangars opened, releasing squadrons of Earth's first space superiority fighters. The Thunderbolts were smaller than their alien counterparts, but more maneuverable, their designs combining human combat experience with recovered technology. What followed was humanity's first space battle, and it was unlike anything their military simulations had prepared them for. The alien fighters moved in complex, three-dimensional patterns, their energy weapons filling space with deadly light. But human pilots, trained in centuries of aerial combat, proved more unpredictable. Squadron leader Jessica Chen reporting. The fighter commander's voice crackled through the comm. These crystal ships are tough, but they're predictable. Too reliant on their programmed attack patterns. We're exploiting the gaps in their formation. Elena watched as human ingenuity began to turn the tide. The Thunderbolts worked in pairs, using maneuvers developed by Earth's finest combat pilots. Where the alien fighters moved with mechanical precision, human pilots introduced chaos theory to space combat. Aurora cannon charged to maximum capacity, Paddle reported. Elena studied the tactical display. The alien fleet had committed nearly half their fighters to the attack, clustering them in pursuit of the Thunderbolts. Perfect. Target the largest concentration of enemy fighters, Elena ordered. Fire when ready. The Phoenix's main weapon, powered by a combination of human fusion technology and recovered alien tech, came to life. A beam of energy, tinted with aurora-like colors, lanced out from the massive ship. Where it touched, the crystalline fighters simply ceased to exist, their advanced structures unable to withstand the weaponized application of Earth's particle physics. Direct hit, Patil exclaimed. Enemy fighter force reduced by 60%. The alien capital ships reacted immediately, their formation shifting as they prepared for a concentrated attack. But Elena had anticipated this. All Thunderbolt squadrons, execute Maneuver Omega, she commanded. Tactical, prepare secondary batteries. Let's show them what happens when you underestimate humanity. The human fighters broke off their individual engagements, forming into precise groups. As the alien capital ships charged their main weapons, the Thunderbolts executed a maneuver that would have been suicide in any other circumstance. They accelerated directly toward the charging weapon ports of the alien vessels. Commander, Dr. Chen's voice carried a note of understanding. The crystalline structure. It's weaker at the emission points. They have to be to allow their energy weapons to fire. Exactly, Elena confirmed. All fighters, fire Mark V missiles on my mark. Now. The Thunderbolts launched their payloads, missiles containing warheads based on the same principles as the Aurora cannon. As the alien ships prepared to fire their main weapons, the missiles struck their most vulnerable points. The effect was catastrophic for the alien fleet. 3 of their capital ships erupted in crystalline explosions, their carefully maintained energy matrices collapsing in chain reactions. Remaining enemy vessels are retreating, Paddle reported, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. They're falling back beyond lunar orbit. The bridge crew erupted in cheers, but Elena remained focused. Maintain battle stations, launch recovery operations for our fighters, and prepare a message to Earth Command. Tell them humanity just won its first space battle. As the adrenaline of combat faded, Elena realized this was only the beginning. They had bloodied the nose of an advanced alien civilization, one that would surely return with greater numbers and a better understanding of human capabilities. But they had also proven something vital. Humanity wasn't just ready for the stars. They were ready to fight for their place among them. And they would do so with everything that made them human. Their unpredictability, their adaptability, and their unwavering determination to survive. In the wake of humanity's unexpected victory, the solar system held its breath. The crystalline fleet's retreat had bought them time, but everyone aboard the Phoenix knew it was only temporary. Elena spent those precious hours reviewing battle footage, analyzing every aspect of their encounter with the advanced alien force. Their technology is superior, Dr. Chen admitted during an emergency strategy session in the Phoenix's war room. But they're inflexible. Every attack pattern, every response, it all followed predictable algorithms. They fight like machines, not warriors. Admiral Wei's hologram nodded from his position at Earth Command. And that's our advantage. But we need more than just unpredictability to survive what's coming next. Elena studied the tactical projections hovering above the conference table. The Mars artifacts contained more than just technology. They held strategic data, star maps, fleet positions, tactical protocols. The crystalline ships we encountered belonged to something called the Nexus Collective, a civilization that believes technological superiority equals evolutionary superiority. Dr. Chen added, they view younger species as resources to be harvested or threats to be eliminated. Their arrival wasn't just about the Mars outpost, it was inevitable. We were always going to be tested. Lieutenant Patel, who had earned his place at the strategy table after his performance in the battle, pulled up new data. We've decoded more of their combat protocols. They operate on a strict hierarchy. Each defeat triggers an exponentially larger response. Based on these calculations, their next attack force will be at least 10 times larger. Elena felt the weight of command settle deeper onto her shoulders. Then we need to be ready. How many ships can we construct using what we learned from the Phoenix? That's the problem, Wei replied. We don't have time to build more capital ships. The Nexus Collective will return within weeks, not months. We need a different approach. What if we don't need more capital ships? Dr. Chen's eyes lit up with the kind of inspiration that had helped decode the alien signal in the first place. The Phoenix's success wasn't just about its technology. It was about how we used it. Human creativity combined with alien tech. What if we applied that principle on a larger scale? Over the next 2 weeks, the solar system transformed into a fortress. Every satellite, space station, and orbital platform was retrofitted with reverse-engineered alien tech. The Thunderbolt squadrons trained relentlessly, developing new tactics that blended human combat experience with advanced technology. But the true revolution came in the form of what became known as the Phoenix Protocol. It's beautiful in its simplicity, Elena explained to her crew. We can't match their numbers or raw power, but we can change the rules of engagement. Every human installation, every ship, every weapon system has been networked using principles we learned from the Mars artifacts. But instead of their rigid hierarchical structure, we've created something organic, adaptable. The Phoenix Protocol allowed human forces to operate with a level of coordination that rivaled the Nexus Collective, while maintaining the individual initiative that made human combat tactics so unpredictable. It was the perfect blend of human and alien approaches to warfare. They didn't have to wait long to test it. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. The warning came exactly 17 days after their first victory. Massive fleet emerging at the edge of the solar system. Elena took her position on the Phoenix's bridge, watching as the tactical display lit up with hundreds of enemy contacts. The Nexus Collective had returned with a vengeance. Over 30 capital ships, accompanied by thousands of fighters and support vessels. All stations, initiate Phoenix Protocol. Elena commanded. Throughout the solar system, human forces moved into predetermined positions, their movements coordinated but not predictable, their responses programmed but not rigid. The alien fleet's transmission carried the same musical quality as before, but now tinged with what could only be described as anger. Your resistance is unprecedented but futile. Your species will be brought into compliance or eliminated. There is no third option. Elena's response was calm and determined. You're right about one thing. This is unprecedented. Humanity isn't just going to survive your test. We're going to change how you view younger species forever. All ships, all stations. Elena broadcast to every human vessel and installation in the solar system. Remember your training. Trust the protocol, but trust your instincts more. Today we prove that humanity's place in the galaxy isn't determined by the age of our civilization, but by the strength of our spirit. The Nexus Collective's fleet advanced in perfect formation, their crystalline ships creating a mesmerizing display of refracted sunlight. They expected to find a single defensive line centered on the Phoenix. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented in their long history of subjugating younger species. They found humanity waiting in a defense that was both orchestrated and chaotic, both strategic and unpredictable. The Phoenix Protocol had transformed the solar system into a battlefield where every human asset could act as part of a greater whole while maintaining individual tactical flexibility. As the two fleets clashed in what would become known as the Battle of Sol, Elena watched her species rewrite the rules of space combat. Human ingenuity, backed by adapted alien technology and coordinated through the Phoenix Protocol, proved that sometimes the most advanced weapon isn't superior firepower, it's the ability to think differently. The war for humanity's future had truly begun, and Earth's children were ready to show the galaxy that they wouldn't just survive. They would revolutionize the very nature of interstellar conflict. The Battle of Sol raged for 3 days. Space itself seemed to warp and twist as human ingenuity clashed with the crystalline might of the Nexus Collective. The Phoenix Protocol proved its worth 100 times over, allowing Earth's defenders to coordinate in ways that left their enemies constantly off balance. But even innovation had its limits. Shield Grid 7 is failing, Paddle reported, his voice hoarse from days of constant combat. We've lost contact with the Jupiter defense platforms. Elena gripped her command chair as another volley rocked the Phoenix. They had bloodied the Collective badly, destroying 12 of their capital ships and countless smaller vessels. But the enemy's numbers seemed endless, while human resources dwindled with each passing hour. "Commander," Dr. Chen called out, her eyes fixed on her console. "I'm detecting new hyperspace signatures. Massive ones, approaching from the Kuiper Belt." Elena's heart sank. If the Collective had brought reinforcements, this would be humanity's last stand. "Classification." "Unknown," Chen replied, her voice puzzled. "The energy signatures don't match Collective patterns. They're different." Before Elena could respond, new ships emerged from hyperspace. But these weren't the crystalline structures of the Collective. These vessels appeared to be grown rather than built, their organic hulls rippling with bioluminescent patterns. "We're being hailed," Patil announced. It's coming from the new arrivals." "Put it through," Elena ordered, preparing for either salvation or doom. The voice filled the bridge, resonant and flowing like water over stones. "Defenders of Sol, this is Arch-Navigator Zaraven of the Sylphid Concordat. We have watched your battle with great interest. The time has come to end the Collective's tyranny of crystalline conformity." The organic ships moved with impossible grace, their weapon systems unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Beams of pure quantum energy lanced out, bypassing the Collective's shields entirely and shattering their crystalline hulls. "The Sylphids," Dr. Chen whispered in awe. There were references to them in the Mars archives. "They're one of the eldest spacefaring races, but they've been in seclusion for millennia." "Commander Rodriguez," Zaraven continued, "your species has demonstrated something the galaxy has long forgotten. That true strength lies not in technological superiority, but in the power to adapt and evolve. We offer our alliance not out of charity, but out of recognition. Humanity has earned its place among the stars." Elena didn't hesitate. "We accept your alliance, Arch-Navigator. Let's show the Collective that the age of rigid hierarchy is over." What followed was a battle that would be remembered for centuries to come. The Sylphid ships moved in perfect harmony with human forces, their organic technology complementing the Phoenix Protocol in ways that seemed almost magical. Where human unpredictability created chaos in the Collective's formations, Sylphid weapons exploited those weaknesses with devastating effect. "Remarkable," Zaraven commented during a brief lull in the fighting. "Your Phoenix Protocol. It mirrors the natural neural networks of our living ships, but with a uniquely human element of controlled chaos. Together, we create a symphony of destruction that the Collective's crystalline minds cannot comprehend." Elena watched as human fighters darted between Sylphid capital ships, their combined tactics forcing the remaining Collective vessels into a desperate retreat. "Why now?" she asked. "Why choose this moment to break your seclusion?" "Because you proved something we have long suspected," the Arch-Navigator replied. "That the next stage of galactic evolution isn't about achieving perfect order, as the collective believes. It's about embracing controlled chaos, about finding strength in diversity rather than conformity. As the last collective ships fled the solar system, Alina realized that humanity had achieved more than just survival. They had catalyzed a fundamental shift in the galaxy's power structure. "This is only the beginning," Zoraven declared. "The collective will return, stronger and more determined. But they will find Earth protected not just by technology or numbers, but by an alliance that represents the true future of cosmic civilization." In the days that followed, Earth's orbital shipyards began incorporating sylphid biotechnology into new vessels. The Phoenix Protocol evolved, learning to interface with the organic neural networks of their alien allies. Human creativity and adaptability, combined with sylphid organic technology, created a defensive network unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "We stand at a crossroads," Alina addressed a joint council of human and sylphid leaders. The collective believed they were testing humanity's readiness for the stars. Instead, humanity has proven that the galaxy itself was ready for change. Together, we will forge a new path, one that values innovation over conformity, adaptation over rigid hierarchy. As she spoke, construction began on a new class of vessels that combined the best of both species' technologies. The Phoenix had been humanity's first step into the stars. These new ships would represent something even greater, proof that the future belonged not to those who clung to power, but to those who dared to evolve. The war was far from over, but now humanity fought not just for survival, but for a fundamental transformation of galactic society. And in the depths of space, more eyes watched with growing interest as the younger species from Sol began to reshape the very nature of cosmic civilization. 6 months after the Battle of Sol, humanity's first extrasolar colony received an urgent transmission from their long-range sensors. The collective had returned, but this time they had brought their entire central fleet, over 1,000 crystalline vessels, led by a ship so massive it practically warped space around it. The Crystal Throne. Zoraven's image wavered in the Phoenix's holographic display. Their supreme command vessel. They'd never committed it to battle before. Alina studied the tactical projections with careful consideration. The combined human-sylphid fleet was formidable, but they were outnumbered almost 10 to 1. "They're not just trying to defeat us anymore. They want to make an example of us." "Let them try," Admiral White responded, his hologram showing him aboard one of the new hybrid vessels that combined human and sylphid technology. "The Phoenix Protocol has evolved beyond anything they can predict, and our new ships are ready for combat." The massive Allied fleet assembled at the edge of the Sol system, organic sylphid ships flowing alongside angular human vessels and the new hybrid crafts that represented the future of both species. At its heart, the HMS Phoenix had been upgraded with sylphid biotechnology, making it more powerful and adaptable than ever before. "All ships, battle positions," Alina commanded. The Phoenix Protocol hummed through the fleet, connecting every vessel in a neural network that was both structured and chaotic, organized yet unpredictable. "Today we fight not just for Earth, but for the right of all species to forge their own path among the stars." The collective's transmission arrived exactly as their tactical analysis had predicted. "Your corruption of natural order ends here. The sylphids have betrayed their ancient wisdom by allying with primitives. All will be purified in crystalline perfection." "You still don't understand," Alina responded, her voice carrying to every ship in both fleets. "There is no natural order, only evolution. And today, evolution favors the adaptable." The battle that followed would be remembered as the defining moment of galactic history. The collective's Crystal Throne unleashed weapons that could shatter planets, but they found themselves facing an enemy that refused to fight according to their ancient algorithms of warfare. Human fighters darted through the chaos in impossible patterns, their tactics evolving mid-battle thanks to the Phoenix Protocol's adaptive programming. Sylphid vessels flowed like liquid through space, their organic technology allowing them to repair damage almost instantly. The hybrid ships demonstrated powers that neither species could have achieved alone, their weapons combining human ingenuity with sylphid organic science. Multiple breaches detected in the collective's formation. Paddle reported, his fingers dancing across his console. Their predictive algorithms can't keep up with our battle mutations. Elena watched as the Phoenix protocol adapted in real time, learning from every exchange, every tactical decision. Concentrate fire on their command and control nodes. The more we disrupt their hierarchy, the more their rigid tactics work against them. The Crystal Throne responded with a weapon that none had expected. A quantum cascade that began crystallizing space itself, threatening to trap the Allied fleet in a lattice of frozen spacetime. They're trying to impose order on reality itself, Dr. Chen called out, her sensors going haywire. This is their ultimate weapon. But even this desperate gambit played into the Allies' hands. The sylphid ship's organic nature allowed them to flex and adapt around the crystallizing space, while human vessels used their newly developed quantum drives to skip between the crystalline fragments like stones across water. Now, Elena commanded, execute Operation Shatterpoint. Throughout the Allied fleet, ships activated devices that had been developed by combining human theoretical physics with sylphid organic technology. They didn't fight against the collective's crystallization effect. They amplified it, but with a crucial modification. The crystalline matrix is becoming unstable, Dr. Chen reported with barely contained excitement. The collected ships are being trapped in their own weapons effect. The Crystal Throne's attempt to impose perfect order on space backfired spectacularly as the modified effect turned their own ships into brittle lattices. The massive flagship began to crack, its perfect crystalline structure becoming its greatest weakness. All ships, tactical formation Omega, Elena ordered. Let's end this. The combined fleet moved as one, their weapons converging on the weakened Crystal Throne. The massive vessel shattered, its destruction sending a shockwave through the collective's rigid command structure. Without their supreme leadership, the remaining ships fell into disarray. They're retreating, Patel announced as the surviving collective vessels flowed into hyperspace. Victory confirmed. But Elena knew this was more than just a military victory. The battle had proven that the future belonged not to those who sought to impose order, but to those who embraced change and adaptation. In the years that followed, the alliance between humans and sylphids transformed galactic society. More species broke away from the collective's influence, drawn to a vision of civilization that valued diversity and innovation over rigid hierarchy. The Phoenix Protocol evolved into the foundation of a new form of interstellar cooperation, one that preserved individual uniqueness while allowing for unprecedented coordination. Elena stood on the Phoenix's observation deck, watching as ships of a dozen different species maneuvered around Earth's orbital shipyards. Each vessel was unique, representing its creator's culture and technology, while incorporating elements learned from other civilizations. Did you ever imagine this outcome when you first detected that signal? She asked Dr. Chen, who had joined her at the viewport. Never, Chen admitted with a smile. We thought we were just looking for proof we weren't alone. Instead, we helped reshape the galaxy. The collective believed they were testing humanity's readiness for the stars, Elena reflected. But we proved something far more important, that the true test of civilization isn't its age or its technology, but its ability to grow, to change, and to see strength in diversity rather than conformity. As she spoke, a new class of ship emerged from the shipyards, its design a perfect fusion of multiple species technologies and philosophies. It represented everything humanity had fought for, not just survival, but the right to help forge a future where every civilization could contribute its unique strengths to the greater whole. Humanity had not just claimed its place among the stars. They had helped create a new way of existing among them, proving that the greatest power in the universe wasn't perfect order, but the endless potential of adaptation and growth.